everybody, welcome to the Hacienda. Rivet here. Today we're going to make Tsuivan, the national dish of Mongolia. Yep, definitely good tasting stuff. There are two modifications that I'm going to make to this recipe. The first being, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use pre-made linguine. The authentic Tsuivan, they always make their pasta at home fresh. I am not going to mess with that. I'm using that. This is ginger. I always put ginger in Tsuivan. And the second thing is, I got 2 hatch chili peppers. They're not hot. They're very flavorful. Typically just red or green sweet bell pepper is utilized in the recipe. But we like this, so we're going with that. So let's get going. In Mongolia, Tsuivan is made with either beef, horse meat, yak meat, or Bactrian camel meat. Sheep or goat is sometimes utilized, but horse is the preferred meat. Now, I don't have horse meat, so we're going with beef. I got 3 pounds of beef here, 2 pounds in a chuck, and 2 8-ounce New York strips. Now, we're going to cut them up into nice bite-sized pieces, like so. So join me in a bit. Alright, over sunflower oil and yak butter, we are cooking the meat. And we're going to add half the salt and pepper because we're going to cook this in 2 batches. You don't want to crowd the meat in the pan because then it won't brown properly. Okay? You want to cook the meat well, although it's going to cook down a little bit later. You want to get it mostly cooked and brown right now. And folks, I'm kidding. I don't have yak butter. It's just regular cow butter. Okay, so after the second batch of meat is done and set off to the left, we've removed all except about 2 tablespoons of fat. And now we are going to add all the vegetables. Now, the thing about, what is the name of it? Tsuivan, is all the vegetables need to be soft. There's no crispiness in this recipe. So we're going to start cooking them like that. And to that, we're going to add a buttload of ginger, because the Mongolians love their ginger. And they eat a lot of mostly root vegetables because of their altitude and climate. They cannot grow things like lettuce and stuff. Now, there are cities in Mongolia, and they are in the 21st century, so they have in the cities same food we do. Anyway, the Mongolians also love their garlic, so we're going to add a crap ton of garlic in here. And that is typical. Have you ever heard of a vampire in Mongolia? No, never. Well, there is one instance. If you all remember the Vampire Chronicles, written by that lady, I forget what her name is, somewhere in the middle of the series, Lestat, the vampire, is just sick and tired of being a vampire and he wants to kill himself. So he flies to the middle of the Gobi Desert in Mongolia and just straight up, this is at nighttime, flies vertically just before sunrise. Oops, as high as he possibly can, 20,000 feet. And then the sun comes up over the horizon, and of course he starts losing his powers because the sun will kill a vampire. Well, he starts falling to the earth, and his plan is to land in the Gobi Desert, and then full sun will be there, and he will be too far away from anywhere to crawl, and he will die. Well, guess what? He doesn't die, and he discovers that he's impervious to the sun. And that is where the series jumped the shark. And it all goes kind of downhill from there, although interesting reads. And he becomes sort of like a superhero. And so there we go. Once it softens, we're going to add the meat to it. Now that all the vegetables are soft, Oh, that took about 10 minutes or so. We're going to add all the beef and mix that in very well. So join me in a moment. Right, so now that all that's mixed in, this is where the rana linguine comes in. And we're going to spread it around like that into thirds, because I'm using 3 packets. I'll get that in there. Now notice how I am cleverly leaving a hole in the center, just like all the videos of Mongolian Tsuivan I've watched, because that is going to allow the steam to come up and help cook. Now you're going to say, where in the heck is the steam coming from, John? Well, I'm going to show you. We have a cup of water here with beef bouillon cubes that we're putting in there, and now we're going to cover this. Where's my lid? Here we go. And we are going to cook it for 15 to 20 minutes, so join me then. In Mongolian culture, once the Tsuivan is done, it is considered a place of honor to give the guest or the head of household the right to mix in the noodles with the meat. So I offered that to Mrs. Rivet and she politely declined. She said, I just want to eat, so I'll do the stirring. And so what we do is, probably had more noodles than I needed, but we're going to mix all this together and then we're going to serve it, and you'll see what a delicious dish this is. And let me tell you folks, it is smelling amazing. And here we have a plate of steaming Mongolian goodness. Tsuivan, the T is silent. And that's not all. We've got to gussy it up. First thing we got to gussy it up with is toasted roasted sesame seeds, which I love. And we're going to do this like that. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, the oil I used was sunflower oil, and that is a must. Sunflower oil has such a nice flavor and is unique. And here we have the green parts of a spring onion. Okay, isn't that pretty? Let's go ahead and dig in. Okay, this smells really good. I can smell garlic, ginger, and the beef. My gosh. And the beef is enhanced by the sunflower oil. I can tell you that from experience. So let's try a piece. I bet you this is chuck, not the steak. Quite tender. Very good flavor. Very beefy. That was great piece of meat. Now let's try the noodles. Traditional Mongolian noodles are just flour and water. So I got linguine here that has egg, but that's okay. Turns out the same function. Hey, that is really good. Wow. The noodles absorb the flavor of the ginger, the garlic, the steam from the beef broth. Very nice. A very nice chewy taste. Let's try the vegetables. And I know I got hatch pepper here and green onion. We got white onion. I don't know where the cabbage is, but it's in there. Wow. That is really good. That is more than the sum of its parts. I feel healthier eating it already. That is a good meal, and I can see why it's a national dish of Mongolia. It's filling, it's warm, it's hearty, it's nutritious. Very good food. And it is served everywhere. And hey, I'll make this again. 10 out of 10. The scent in this kitchen is amazing. And thanks for watching, people. You all take care.